today I have a very special flight for you guys. So we're going to be doing a 24-hour flight from Beijing, China, all the way to New York City. So I've never done a flight like this before because it's going to require a stop midway through in Hawaii to fuel up to make it all the way to New York. So I'm definitely looking forward to this flight because it is going to be a very complex one to accomplish. So I have a lot of mods installed to make the Boeing 787-10 super realistic. I have a lot of mods on top of that to make the ground operations more realistic that you guys will also see. But on top of that, I also have an amazing sponsor for this video, Toby. So Toby reached out to me and gave me the Toby Eye Tracker 5 to use for this video, and I am just blown away so far. You guys can probably notice already that my head movements are a lot more accurate and more precise. So I'm super glad to have my hands on one of these. And the first thing that I learned about the eye tracker is that it's not just an eye tracker, it's also a really good head tracker too. So you can lean and rotate your head and do everything that you can do with other head trackers, and it's all wireless. So the only cord you have is the one that's attached to the sensor that allows you to clip it to your monitor. But it's very convenient and it's very useful in many scenarios. You can use it in low light conditions, and it's just unlimited the things you can do with this thing. So thank you so much, Toby, for sponsoring this video, and you guys should definitely check them out. So on top of them giving me a Toby Eye Tracker 5, they're also giving you guys 20% off. So go ahead and check out the description, and there will be a link there that'll give you more information regarding that. And they're also doing a really cool event on the 23rd of August where they're doing for 20 days giveaways if you go on their site to random people. So they're giving away Toby Eye Tracker 5s in anything ranging from other game items to ships in Star Citizen. So if you want to take advantage of that, go ahead and check out the description of the video, and I'll leave links to all the things that you guys need to see. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get in the cockpit and get this thing fired up so we can head over to Honolulu. So while we were outside, the instruments inside of the cockpit have been calibrating. So we have one more minute to go before we can start using the instruments and planning the flight. But I'm just going to go through and make sure that I've followed all of the items in the checklist before this. Okay, so since the displays are properly aligned, I can go ahead and continue on with the checklist. So now I need to set the altimeter. So let me change the setting. Alright, now to enable the flight director, make sure the auto throttle arm switch is engaged and the autopilot disengage switch is up. Landing gear lever is down, auto brake set to RTO, speed brake is down, throttle levers are set to 0, thrust reversers are at 0, flaps are at 0, and it says that on the display. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and plan the flight for the plane. Okay, I got the flight plan loaded into the plane, so now I need to set up the MPC for the autopilot, and then I have to set the heading of the runway and airspeed. Go ahead and engage LNAV and VNAV. Okay, so we're almost ready for pushback, so I got to turn on the fuel pumps. And then this might turn off the APU. The AP is falling down at RPM. Alright, now I want to call for the pushback.
Release parking brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Alright, set the beacon. Starting engine 1. Alright, starting engine 2. Making sure flight controls are free and correct. Giving fuel to engine 2. flaps 5. Right, taxi light sets on. Dim the lights in the cockpit so I can see. Alright, releasing the park and brake. Applying power. Short. Alright, auto brake set to RTO. And disable parking brake. Alright, we're clear for takeoff. Let's go ahead and start rolling. Stable, takeoff thrust set. Gear up. Alright, there goes the autopilot kicking in. So we have to stay low and quiet because of the pattern that this airport requires us to follow for the houses that are below us. So right now we're going to slowly climb out to 3,000 feet so we can continue to gain speed but not use too much thrust. Turning off landing lights. Turn off lights, taxi, and wing light. Okay, so it looks like the autopilot is handling the plane pretty good right now, so it has a little ways to go before it's at its cruising altitude. So I'm gonna go ahead and monitor the plane until it hits 31,000 feet. So before we hit that altitude, I'll go ahead and check in with you guys then. Okay, so the autopilot is functioning perfectly right now, so I'm gonna let the plane handle itself for about 10 hours or so. And that'll be around the time we hit our top of descent and we need to start descending into Honolulu. So it's currently 4:45 a.m. right now in Beijing, and we should be getting to Honolulu at 11 a.m. their time. So if everything goes according to plan, we should be on schedule for those times. So anyway, I'll check with you guys right before we hit our top descent in 10 hours. Okay, so we've been flying for 8 hours right now, and we are getting ready to approach our top of descent. So it's currently 5 going on 6 p.m. right now in Honolulu. So we should be landing in Honolulu at around, I'd say, around like 6:30, 6:45. So we're making a really good time right now. So I'll go ahead and check in with you guys right as we start to descend. I'm going to go ahead and drop down our altitude to flight level 200. Alright, so our airport is the one that's farthest away from us. That's above the one that's closest. So we're getting pretty close. Alright, flaps 20. Enabling approach mode. Alright, my plane. Knots. All right, welcome to Honolulu. go ahead and power down and get connected to the gate. Alright, so the people are deboarding right now, so I'm going to go ahead and call a refueling truck and start preparing for the next flight. Okay, so it's been about an hour and a half. I went ahead and ate some food. So right now it is 9 p.m. in Honolulu, and it's currently 3 a.m. in New York. So it's going to take us 11 hours to get to New York, so it should be around like 3 p.m., 2 p.m., around that time when we get there. So right now the weather isn't looking too good there actually. It's overcast and there's a high chance of rain, so I'm not too sure how it's going to go down when it comes to the difficulty of the landing. But anyway, we need to go ahead and get this plane programmed and ready to go for that leg. So let me go ahead and start from the bottom of the checklist so that I don't miss anything, because I did not do a good job at shutting down the plane. So I need to be sure that I don't miss anything, because that is crucial in me not having any sort of glitches or issues with this plane. Okay, so I was finally able to get the plane reloaded, so let me go ahead and get the flight plan loaded in. Okay, so I got the flight plan programmed into the plane, and it's currently going on 10 p.m. here in Honolulu, so we should be getting to New York at around, I'd say, 3 to 4 o'clock p.m. their time. So let me go ahead and get the rest of the plane set up so we can get out of here. So I need to set the MCP panel up so the autopilot has all the correct numbers. So I need to set the cruising altitude to our desired height. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start the boarding. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and call the pushback tug.
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback. Release parking brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Alright, starting engine 1.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
So I'm going to turn off the APU. And then I'm going to activate the center pumps. Okay. Make sure the flight controls are free and correct. Alright. Controls are free and correct. Go ahead and drop the flaps to 5. Turn on the taxi light. Disable parking brake. Apply some power. So the scenery for this airport is super unstable, so I'm not getting the best performance, and I'm not sure if there's any sort of crazy objects on the runway. Engine stable, take off with our set. Gear up. Okay, so it looks like the autopilot is handling the plane pretty good right now. So I'm going to let the plane fly itself for the next 11 hours. So since it says we're going to be hitting IGN, the waypoint that's going to have us getting ready to descend into New York, since it says we're hitting that waypoint at 20 Zulu and it's 09 Zulu right now, that means we have 10 to 11 hours of flying at least before we even descend. So it should be around, I believe that's around 1 or 2 p.m. So we're definitely going to be landing in New York in the afternoon, so it should be easy in regards to visibility. It is going to be at the very least overcast, and it might be rainy. It might not though, so we'll see what the future holds for us. But in the meantime, I'm going to let the plane climb out to its cruising altitude and also fly for the next 11 hours, and I'll check in with you guys as soon as we hit our top of descent or if anything else happens. Alright, so we've hit our top of descent, and it's actually been about 12 hours since we took off from Honolulu, but in real life it's been about 20. I started getting shot at in real life, so I had to kind of abandon what I was doing. So I got everything back to the way it was before I started getting shot at, so I'm fine. It is what it is, but I kind of forgot where we are. Descending into New York. I'm having some hardware issues. Nothing in my system is working over 30%. CPU, GPU, RAM, everything is being underused, and my FPS is not good, to no surprise. So I apologize if it doesn't look good. Can't really do anything about it. So I need to start descending. The waypoints aren't really accurate or detailed in the sim for what we're doing here. So I have to kind of guess what my glide slope's going to be. So right now I'm just trying to figure out the best course of action to get the aircraft down to the proper altitude. I'm supposed to be at 2,000 feet at the Tidelux waypoint. The Tidelux waypoint is right near this little LG symbol. I'm going to try and set the vertical speed to a setting where we will hit 2,000 feet at that location, so I'm going to try and do that right now. Increasing vertical speed so that we stay on track to hit 2,000 feet at the Telin waypoint, or Telix waypoint. Keep increasing vertical speed so our nose comes up. Alright, so gear down. Flaps 20. My sim froze. Are you serious, dude? Come on.